Hello, this is Susan Kelmer. In this video I want to talk about how we convert a PDF file or any other kind of an image file into a workable text document that we can edit. Some of our students are going to require this level of extra depth in an accessible file, and so we tend to provide them with Word files that have all of the elements that they need, but also are much more navigable. We know the text is accurate, it's in the right order, and we can include figures and graphics and things like that as well. But we have to get this file from its original PDF format into a text-based file that we can work with in Microsoft Word. So I have a couple of different PDFs up here. So one is a chapter from a textbook. It actually looks pretty clean, not too complicated. There are some things that we'll have to edit out in the Word version, but overall this is a pretty easy file to run OCR on and come up with a text file. And then I have this one. So this is a scan of a book. And probably, who knows if the instructor actually acquired copyright permission or not. But anyway, we see this kind of thing all the time. And this particular file has a scan of the title page, and they caught the whole book in there. And then each individual page, and you can see it, they're a little crooked, and they came out a little yellow, which is not unusual for older paper with a texture to it. You'll see some paper that has texture to it. So this was scanned by an instructor, not very nicely. If you can see, then this isn't too hard to deal with, but if you can see but your brain won't let you comprehend the reading and you need to be able to hear it, well, this is pretty ugly. And it's not going to work. There's a reader in Adobe under View, Read Out Loud. And if this were a text-based file, which it is not, if it were a text-based file, Adobe would do its best to read it out loud. There's no tagging, there's no, attention to detail in here. And so we're going to change this into a Word file before we give it back to the student. And this requires running something called optical character recognition, what I've referred to as OCR, to make this text actually text-based rather than an image. We know this is an image because when I click, I get the selection of the whole page. It's really just a picture. In the book chapter, we can see that this one actually is text. And so it will read with a text-to-speech reader fairly well. But a student may have more extensive disabilities where navigating the PDF is going to be more difficult. If they're visually impaired, they're blind, they tend to use a screen reader. Yes, this will work, but is not optimal, whereas a Word file is going to be the optimal solution for them. And you can then turn a Word file into a lot of other things. And a Word file will be very, very clean. We'll have all the elements in it that it needs, including tables and graphics, and navigability that we can't necessarily guarantee in an original PDF. So there is a function in Adobe Acrobat that allows you to save as other. So I can save, sorry, didn't mean to click there. I can actually save it as other things, but this is a little bit difficult and doesn't do a very good job. So this export to Microsoft Word document, you can do either one of those. Will do its best attempt at running optical character recognition on this file, and you will receive some sort of a file, but it may or may not be all that great. You also can export to plain text, which is preferable if you're going to have to do it this way. However, we use Omnipage to create those text files in a very quick way. And so Omnipage has been around for a long time. It is an optical character recognition program, and it does a really good job. It's fairly inexpensive. It doesn't get very many updates, but it still continues to work year from year. And it has this really nifty function where I can do a quick convert without ever having to open the actual software. Now there is actual software. So this is Omnipage. And I can actually run a file through this, but it takes more than a few minutes, and then you have to do a little bit of editing here before you can save it. Whereas this quick convert function works, I think, better. It gives you a better output. So this book chapter, if I right click it, you can see that I have in my context menu a choice here for Omnipage. And I can say to Word, Excel, PDF, all kinds of things. But I actually am only going to save to text. I'm only going to convert it to text. And the reason we do this is that converting to text means that Omnipage isn't trying to get the heading levels right. It's not trying to get the navigation built in. It's not trying to deal with a table or graphics in a traditional way. It's basically going to strip all formatting out of the document except for line breaks. And this makes a really clean text document that we can then edit in Microsoft Word. And I will cover that in additional videos, so you'll want to see all of those at some point. But I do cover this in great detail. So from Omnipage here, I can say convert to text. And it's actually going to run up here in the corner. It takes very little time. It's a very short chapter. And you can see it created a text file. And I can do the same thing with this scanned one. Even though it's an image, I'm going to convert to text. And this is going to take a little longer because it's messy. But it's going through and it's recognizing all of that text and making it available for me to work with. So once it's done, we're going to look at one of these text files so you can see what the output looks like. I find this is the cleanest way to work on a file from scratch, rather than to try to adjust formatting that Omnipage may have created based on converting it to a Word file. So I'm going to remind you what the PDF looks like for this document. So relatively clean. And I'm going to open the text file. Now you can choose to open it with and choose Word if you don't have Word already associated with it, or you can open Microsoft Word, navigate, and open the text file. In Windows, text files are not necessarily associated with Microsoft Word. Now I have actually created that already, and so mine would open with Word if I just double-clicked it. So this is my Word file getting ready to be opened, and it does give me a little dialog box. This dialog box just says we're going to use the Windows default and Western European language. That's fine. All of that's fine. I always just say OK. And I'm going to get this file where everybody can see it. Sorry about that. I did not get my video window fixed. So this is our file, and realize that this looks a little bit ugly. Looking at our original PDF, it's a little bit ugly to look at this Word file. But the first thing I do is to apply some basic formatting. So I pull in my normal template off of this file. So a Control-A will select all of the text in this document using my styles and headers, which I will cover in depth in another video. Applies that normal formatting. So now I have a document that I can actually work with. And we can see that the line breaks are still there, the paragraphs are still there. The extra information like page numbering is still there. We have all of the stuff we need, but it's going to be easy to convert this document then to a text file. So let's look at the other one that was a scanned document. And open it with Word and say OK. And there is our document. Again, not pretty, but I will grab it all, select normal, and now I have a document that I can work with. And this is actually not too horrible. If we look back at our original PDF, we can see that it's pretty much captured things in that Word file. We're going to have to do some editing, some formatting, but it's not too bad. So it's picked up everything. So that is how we work with Omnipage to extract using the quick convert function. In a second video, I will talk about actually using Omnipage to extract the text in the longer method. Thanks for watching.